As you can see, mapocho, some goodness, some badness, you know, a good kind of combination that you know us for. So you are in the right place. Your Saturday nights are taken care of in the right way. Alafu hapa ni place ya kuconnect. So make sure you are on our hashtags na pia uingie pale kwenye Instagram, because today we have amazing stories as usual from Kenyans outside huko. So najua kutesa manze, and when we talk about kutesa right now, I want us to ingia hiyo ndege. Yes, unajua mimi ni captain of the ship lazima, and we go right now all the way hapa tu hata si mbali. We meet a Kenyan who is doing exemplary well. Yani ikikuja mambo ya MC, ikikuja mambo ya motivational, when it comes to everything good, he's on top of it. So welcome to the show for the first time ever, man like Eugene. Niaje bro, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing very, very well. I'm loving your energy. I can feel it from here where I am in Kigali, Rwanda. And you remind me of my nephew, Marcus. Good to see you and great to be on your show.
We are delighted to have you. And I always tell my guests, because I want them to understand, this show was made because of champions like you. Yani bila wewe, itakuwa kizungumkuti kidogo. So we do really appreciate you. Ebu nikuulize hivi, Kigali, where do you... Because I want you to equate it to like Kenya. Kuna Gwagana Buru, Phase 1, kuna Lavington, Kileleshwa. In Rwanda, what would you say? Where do you live? Ni maeneo gani? Talk to me, Eugene.
Yeah, so you're right. So niko Kigali in an area called Kichukiro. Kichukiro Kagarama. And Kichukiro Kagarama is not far away from the main town or the CBD. Because Rwanda is not such a huge country, and so the distance from one place to another is quite a walking distance. If you wanted to walk, you can actually walk from wherever you are and get to the next destination without having an issue. Of course, you need to be ready for the hills, because it's a country of so many hills. They call it 1,000 hills.
Yeah.
So just to answer your question, I mean Kichukiro Kagarama.
Wow, I love it. Hizo ni matang twisters. A while before like getting used to some of the names, because the way you have said it so now is so flawless. Yadu umeisema tu ni kama wewe ni mmoja wao, yani you integrated the right kind of way. Did it take you some time to kind of integrate and get to familiarize yourself with how the speed of Rwanda is?
You know, I came to Rwanda in 2008, and I think if you count those number of years, we are almost getting to 20 years. And so mimi ni mmoja. I think it's good for our viewers to also know that I got the privilege and honor to have Rwandan citizenship. So I am a dual citizen. Amazing. Of both Kenya and Rwanda. And it took me time to learn the language, because I came here in 2008 to be part of a pioneering squad to set up an English desk for one of the first major private radio station, Contact FM. And at that time in 2008, country was majorly a francophone country, just speaking French and Kinyarwanda. So imagine unaingia kwa country na unaenda kukua mtangazaji, and the language that wasikilizaji wako wanasikiza ni Kinyarwanda na Kifaransa, and you understand none of that, and yet you need to go on the field and collect stories and interview people. It was not easy, but for me, I think kulikuwa na ukaribu na Kiluya, because I'm from Western Kenya. So ukisikia amazi ni umuhanda is barabara, na ukisikia Kiluya ni umuhanda. So it was a bit difficult, but the citizens were very passionate and loving when they saw me and had me trying my level best to understand Kinyarwanda. So even now kugira ko uyu munsi ndi umunyarwanda ukome kandi wanyabyo. So what I've just told you is, today I can tell you for a fact that I'm a Rwandan and a true Rwandese as well. So I've been able to understand the language, I can speak it, and what makes me very happy sometimes is when I get into a shop, because most people know me and some of them do not know that I understand Kinyarwanda, and they start speaking about me. Hey, see, this is the guy who usually on TV, and they start saying it in Kinyarwanda, and they don't know that I'm really hearing what they're saying. And when I'm done, then I speak to them a Kinyarwanda word, and they're like, oh my God, he was hearing everything that we were saying. It's been a very great ride for all those couple of years that I've been here so far.
That's amazing, and you've broken it down in such a nice way, because it is an advantage knowing the language of the place you're in. Unajua Romans wakifanya A, wewe uko A now pia. So I love that. Plus, we hear so many good things about Rwanda, you know, from the cleanliness to all, even like the NBA games that were recently held there. So it's a city growing. It's a city that is out there. It's outpacing some of us, but we're still catching up. I want you to kindly tell the audience, you know, how, you know, you've said you went there to set up a pioneer kind of school, English and what. Can you walk me through the process? Because I know you did not just wake up one Monday, and went all the way to Rwanda. There must have been steps, there must have been documentations, and even when you got there, I'm sure there is also accreditations that you needed to make sure you have so that you push forward in the right way. Maybe you could break that down to us so that we understand.
Right, so thank you. I cleared my high school in 2005. I was a student of Butere Boys High School. I was actually the head boy there. And when I cleared high school, normally in our family, it was very crucial that once you're done with high school, then it's your ticket to now go to Nairobi. And I remember the night before my trip to Nairobi to go and stay with my sister and start my college life. My father asked me, so now you are done with high school, you're not going to Nairobi, but what are you going to do? What do you want to do? And I told my dad, I want to own my own media house. I want to have my own TV station. And my dad told me, no, I'm asking you now, as you go to Nairobi, what are you going to do in Nairobi? And I think since then, I knew what I wanted, and I think I've been on that particular path, on that particular journey to want to achieve that vision of being a media owner. So when I went to Nairobi, I pursued journalism, but just for someone who's watching me right now and is wondering whether it's all about the school you go to, no, it is never about that. I studied in a school that did not even have a name, Journalism and Media School, called Regional Center for Tourism and Foreign Languages. And that was the school that I studied. It was at Kimathi Street. And for me, I think it was about going there to try and pursue and chase my dream. And I think when we went for a tour of a radio station as students of journalism in that school, there was this producer who was at Radio Waumini. We visited Radio Waumini. I think most of the viewers here might know the Catholic radio station. And when we went there, the lady producer asked our lecturer and said, she has a client who prefers male voices for the adverts, and so she requested the male students of that particular class to get into the booth to be able to voice over this particular script for the advert. So myself and a couple of my colleagues in that class, we went to recorded the ad. You know, like I told you, from Western Kenya, we love listening to radio. And so when I was staying with my brother, I had this small radio that I would listen to throughout. And, you know, 2 mornings later, I'm listening in and I'm hearing that ad very early in the morning, 5 a.m. and it's my voice. And so I go to my lecturer and I'm like, hey, do you know they actually used my voice? They used my voice and they never even told me about it. And I think this is not correct. And what she told me is what changed everything about me today. She told me, you know what? Take all the class assignments you've been doing, because every time we used to go to studio for practical sessions, I would leave the studio with banned CDs of my projects that I'd presented. And she told me, take these audio recordings, please go and just tell her that you can actually do more than that voiceover that you did. And true to that fact, I went with that with those several CDs. I'm appreciative of the fact that you used my voice, but actually I can do more than just what I did. And I started volunteering at Radio Waumini, and a few weeks later, there was this young man who was at Radio Waumini who actually told me that in Rwanda there are people who are looking for young upcoming journalists because they're trying to set up their English broadcast, and would you be interested? And I remember that time, none of us in my family had even come to Rwanda. All we knew about that time was the genocide against the Tutsis in 1994. And I was young, and I said, you know what, why not? And so that's how, I got called to come and just see the country, 4 days trip to just see the country, see the newsroom, see the colleagues in there. And I was asked if I loved it. And I said, of course I did. And they asked me, would you be happy to relocate and come to Rwanda now, live and I think that is how I landed in Rwanda, and the rest is history.
It's amazing. And I love the fact that you've broken it down from when you were in uni, getting that opportunity, because sometimes you never know where opportunity will come from for you to actually get to the level that you need to be. So I love the fact that you've broken it down like that. Also, I want us to move now to the next step, which is you've experienced media life right here in the 254, and now you're a mogul. Maeneo ya Rwanda, Kigali. Talk to me about some of the things you would love to introduce that, unajua, kuna vitu umeintroduce or there are modes of things or the way they do things in Rwanda that you've experienced there. You're like, wow, this would be so good for Kenya. Or are there things that umetoa hapa mtaani uko like, hey, by the way, nikienda nayo huko inaweza weza sana. So talk to me about the comparison and the things that you've seen, the differences, especially when it comes to media.
Yeah. Thank you. So I think for those who might not know, TV47, I'm actually the founding CEO. I was the first CEO who came and, supported in putting down the structures, the foundation to making it what it is today. And I think for me now, getting into Rwanda and being able to set up my own media house here, East Africa Media Group, but anchored on mentorship under the Anangwe mentorship program. I think what we need to do back there from a media perspective is a lot of hand-holding for young people who are very passionate about media. I think a lot of young people are getting lost. They're losing it. They're losing the belief even in those talents that they have within media because of lacking role models who can actually hold their hands. And for me, if the people who held my hand never did that, I don't think I would be who I am today. So I decided to set up a mentorship program called the Anangwe program to try and multiply myself, to be able to say, okay, I might not be able to make you be myself, but I can be able to support you where you can, to be able to also try and pursue your dream and achieve what you need to achieve. So I think my plea would be for people within the media industry. There are very, very many talented young people out here. Those even have not even studied journalism, but they have that passion and the drive. And I always tell people, you must not even have sat in a journalism class. You need is just that passion. When you have that passion, you're already 2, 3, 4, 5 steps into the career. So I think that is one thing we need to do, and probably partner and be able to say, are we able to open up spaces for young people to come for internships, trainings? It reminds me of when I tried many, many times when I was still in Kenya. I knocked so many doors. A lot of them were shut in front of me, in my face. I remember calling and sending so many emails to Mutoko, so many of them to Jeff Koinange, many media personalities when I was still young, telling them how I'm ready to work even for free just because I can be able, so that I can be able to just earn that experience. Until one day when I called Caroline Mutoko in the morning and she received my call and she was like, 2 things. One, stop forwarding your CV. 2, tomorrow come to Lion Place for voice test. So yes, I got the lecture, but I got a chance to be able to go for a voice test. And I remember going to Lion's Place, and the person who was taking me through the doors, there was every time biometric, one door after the other. And I saw how closed the space was. And so today, even for young people who are growing into this industry, when you have a chance and opportunity, please seize it, take it, use it, because you never know when next you'll be able to get that opportunity. So I'll pause there for now.
Yeah, so
if you want me, I'll talk.
Nah, iko tu sawa, because you've also touched on what I was gonna ask you next, because I wanted you to encourage those people, because tuko wengi sisi watu wa media ambao we have the passion, we have the drive, but kidogo unafeel ni kama kuna places inakulemea. So I love the fact that you've already given them some of the tools and the things that at least wanaweza fanya so that they get to the next level, especially when it comes to seizing the opportunity. Juu sometimes opportunity inakuja tu once. Na imagine ni kama ungeenda na lecturer wako to that radio station nini, alafu voice yako haingechukuliwa, hii interview sijui kama ingekuwa inafanyika. So you seizing that opportunity, best ever. Alafu pia when it comes to culture shock, because najua vile ulifika huko, I'm sure yes you went there for a 4-day trip, you had your time, but there must have been things that it took time to get used to. Sijui ni chakula, inaweza kuwa transport, inaweza kuwa, as you said, language kidogo pale. Talk to me about some of those things that were a culture shock to you. Alafu zile vitu ulikuwa una miss toka home, ulikuwa unasema I could trade my kidney for some ugali right now.
Funny enough, there's a lot of commonalities, but I think for me, one of the culture shocks at that time was definitely the language. And all the times it was important to understand that every soda was actually a Fanta. So if you wanted to order Fanta or a soda, you have to specify which Fanta. So there's Coca, that's Coca-Cola. Fanta Sprite, that is Sprite. Fanta Orange, Fanta Orange. Fanta Citro is Fanta Citrus. So every soda is a Fanta. I think those language mixes were a bit of a culture shock. And then number two was the fact that I know a lot of young people. That time I was very young and very energetic, even from a perspective of kukatiana and all those kind of things. We always thought that ukiongea kizungu, when you speak English, then someone sees you as, yes, you know me, I want to talk to this one. So I remember when we used to go to some clubs, and then there were these ladies who we would start speaking to in English, thinking that they would be like, hey, these are foreigners, let's go and talk to them, let's go. The moment you just utter that English word, that was it. The lady disappeared, because they were like, okay, so what do I even tell you? Because there was that big language gap and language barrier. So I think there was a bit of differences in those particular areas, but with time we got to understand how to maneuver around those things. But from a food perspective, I think the food is the same, the weather is the same, and it's only that you need to understand that from the ugali kila siku back at home, here there's a lot of rice, it's beans, it's the matoke, it's the mihogo, it's a variety of things. And so if your house, you're ugali sukuma wiki, that would be a bit difficult pengine when you panda it in your kitchen garden when you're here.
I get that, Eugene, and thank you very much. As I said at the beginning, wewe ni champes, wewe ni bazoo, you going all the way to a foreign country, alafu still putting on for Kenya, alafu going even above and beyond. And unajua watu wa Rwanda pia wanakugossip hapa na pale na Kenya Rwanda. I wish that was me, but you are already doing it. So I love the fact that you're already doing it and you are it. So salute to you, Eugene, and continue. Let that fire never die out. Acha iendelee, yani trailblazing kabisa, si ndio?
Yeah, kabisa.
Yeah. And before we love and leave you, tunakuwa na tradition yetu hapa inaitwa kutuma salams, because najua your loved ones are watching you not only from Rwanda but pia from Kenya pia hii, na pia watu wa Butere wako pale kwa TV wanasema haki usiponitaja Eugene. Hey. So please give out all the salams. Remember everyone.
Bro, you know, you're getting into a very huge risk asking Amluya to send salams, you know? I hope we have all the time for this. So I'm going to start. So the first person I'm going to actually shout out is my mentor, my motivator, and that is my father, Henry Alokhaba Anangwe, who's actually watching us tonight. He's been very inspirational and continues to be to me. Secondly, my siblings. I think I'll be shout all my siblings. We are so many of us. Sometimes we joke and I wonder if we all know all of us, but I'm going to shout out my sister, Joanne, very instrumental even in my career path. My sister Mary, Olu, Dora, Winnie, Kerry, Cecilia, Lina, my brothers Beshtem, Supu, Jimford. I want to say big shout out to all of you. My moms, all of them who are watching us right now. But of course, my lovely wife, who's actually here in Rwanda, and my children, I want to say a big shout out to all of them. And everybody else who's seen me as an inspiration and probably feels that there's some way that I inspire you, I want to say thank you for actually being part of my journey as I continue on this walk of life.
That was nice. You kept it nice and easy. Kila mse ameshughulikiwa, so thank you very much, Eugene. And as we usually say, please, when you get that opportunity to come back home, juu iko about that season coming up and pale, make sure you take some time. You come here to studio so that we can talk this one-on-one thing in a big kind of way. But thank you very much. That is Eugene Anangwe, all the way from Rwanda. Unacheki maneno yetu zetu pale Diaspora Connect, kupanda ndege kuconnect na Kenyans from all over the world.